Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Disney Travel Secrets Podcast. If you're new to the show, we are your hosts and travel agents, Rob and Kerri Stuart, coming to you from our Creating Magic Vacation studio in Disney's backyard, Windermere, Florida. You're listening to episode number 412, original air date January 6th, 2025.
And so welcome to our first show in 2025 and Happy New Year. And between this show and our other podcast, Travel Inspired, we have done 567 shows since we started in 2017.
That is crazy.
Yeah, but we really want to thank you for joining us and the kind messages that you send us on our socials.
We do have a great topic for you today, and that is how to do Disneyland. Some things are the same as right here in Walt Disney World. Other things are very different.
Yeah, and a few episodes ago on episode 410, we did a this or that comparing Florida parks to the California parks, just to kind of tease you a little bit.
Yeah, so this show is a deeper dive into Disneyland specifically and how to make the most of your trip to the California parks.
Take it away, Flash.
Welcome to Disney Travel Secrets with your hosts, Rob and Kerri Stuart, the founders of Creating Magic Vacations and authorized Disney Vacation Planner. They are still a very popular Disney podcast, and not just with their friends and family. Every Monday for over 5 years, they've been bringing you the best and most up-to-date information about all things Disney. The parks, the cruises, and also the luxury of Adventures by Disney. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, where they share content that's mentioned on this very show. Now, here comes the rope drop.
We want to say a special hello to my brother-in-law, Blake, her brother, his wife, Sheila, and our niece, Lila.
We call her Princess Lila.
I think she's probably going to end up being a Disney princess. She's only 16 right now, but
yes, she has a couple more years.
You'll soon see her walking the parks at Walt Disney World. But a very special hello to them. They've spent the last week with us right after Christmas until the end of the next week, and we are having such a blast with them. As a matter of fact, they're at the parks right now. So as soon as we're done with this show, we're going to head over and meet them. So Happy New Year. Again, our first show of the year. We're going into this is in March. It'll be 8 years. So technically this is year 8 of our show.
Yeah. And so we thought it would be fun to give away some stuff this month.
Let's do it.
To kick off the new year. So wherever you listen to us, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, wherever, go there. And we just need you to do a little action.
So on the DTS Instagram channel, copy your review and comment on this post. The post is thank you to our listeners, because you can't post a picture on Instagram.
I know, right?
Crazy.
And then on the Disney Travel Secrets Facebook page, take a screenshot of your review. And again, go to the post that says thank you to our listeners. And we are going to give away some fun things there.
I know, it could be Mickey ears, luggage tags, popcorn bucket. We do have a bunch of those. Maybe
yeah,
a popcorn bucket, or maybe even some Disney gift cards.
Yeah, we have a lot of really fun stuff to give away. And you know what? It's just going to be a good time had by all. I have a feeling.
That is your saying.
Also, make sure you're getting our newsletter, because we also have a really cool giveaway. Little spoiler there. That we are doing from our agency this month.
In Disney news this past week, Disney dropped the latest offer, and that is free dining, but also up to 30% savings if you do a room-only booking. Now, again, it doesn't mean just room-only. It means you're going to get a 30% discount on the room. You're still going to add your tickets.
Yeah. And the dates, though, are very specific. To most of them are you need to check in between May 27th through the beginning of August, but there are some blacked out ones. Like, for example, July 4th, of course, is not included.
Shocker.
I know.
Disney does limit the number of packages with free dining and discounts, so do not wait to book. And as we predicted, there are also a few other offers. And we're not going to go into all those here, because this is all about how to do Disneyland.
Yeah, but if you do watch us on YouTube, you can go over there and see what those offers are as well.
The basic ones, there are 4. There's free dining, there's room-only discount, annual pass holder, and also Florida resident offers as well. So again, go to the Disney Travel Secrets YouTube channel and you can see all the details.
Yeah, and you can also reach out to us or one of our Creating Magic Vacations travel advisors to get your summer trip booked. Or if you already have a trip with us, then we have already modified your reservation and applied whichever offer worked best for you.
Another thing to keep in mind, if you booked a trip directly with Disney and you just put the deposit down and it hasn't been 30 days, so if it's less than 30 days, we can help you. Matter of fact, as soon as I get off this little recording here, I'm going to talk to Rebecca, who is going to transfer her booking as well. So speaking of vacations, as you know, as we kick off, 2025, this is a reminder to get your trips on the books. If you want to spend the holidays at Disney or on a Disney cruise, put the deposit down now.
Yeah. And then plus just having a trip planned gives you something to look forward to. I love looking up at our calendar that we have on the wall and seeing all the different trips that we have to look forward to in 2025.
If you're watching us on YouTube, yes, that was me looking at our calendar. We can't say what it is because it has kind of a bad word in it, but it's a big something calendar.
It's a big calendar.
It is. So this week is all about the California parks. So let us share with you again the absolute best way to visit not just the parks, but become truly immersed in the history of Walt Disney and the amazing company that he built.
Yeah, and that is to join Rob and I, and we have an awesome group of friends coming with us later this year on September 28th.
That's when it starts.
And this is our private Adventures by Disney trip to Disneyland and Southern California.
So this is a special trip. It also does have lots of extra surprises that only Disney can do.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about this trip.
I can't wait to see Walt's office.
I know.
That is my
That's
dream.
Gonna be so
That's
cool.
my dream.
So all you need to do is go to creatingmagicvacations.com and fill out the plan a vacation form. And then just put ABD with Rob and Kerri as the destination. We also have a link in the show description as well if you want to read more about it.
If we're still talking about this trip, we still have spots. I think we can have up to 40. We're in the low 20s. So we do have some spots still. Don't wait. This will sell out this month. Before the end of January, all the spots will be gone.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And then plus you have a little more time to pay it off.
Exactly. You know, it's not till September. I think it's 90 days out, whatever, full payment, whatever.
120 days out.
So whatever. So every time we go to Disneyland, we remind ourselves that they do things very, very differently there.
Yeah, and while there is a lot that is the exact same, there are a lot of things that are different. And they're little things.
Well, if you know Walt Disney World and you just go to Disneyland, you might feel a little out of sort.
But you're in luck because we are going to get you ready for Disneyland with our top tips on how to do a Disneyland vacation. And these are based on our personal experience visiting there, and also the thousands of trips that we have booked there, both from us and our team at Creating Magic Vacations. So we know a little bit about Disneyland.
That we do. We're going to start with where to stay because in California, there's a small Disney bubble. It's like a bubble.
It's not a bubble.
It's bubble-like. But you have one long road filled with just about every brand of hotel you can think of, and also lots of chain restaurants. You don't have that here in Orlando.
Yeah, the good news is you do have a lot of hotel choices, though, for every budget. But you also can get a lot of congestion on that main Harbor Boulevard, and you won't feel like you're in Disney until you get into the parks or downtown Disney.
That is true, and we always recommend staying at one of the 3 Disney-owned and operated resorts, so you can get really the full Disney immersive experience.
Yeah, starting with our favorite, Disney's Grand Californian. It really is. It's our favorite out of all of the U.S. parks, and that includes Florida. It has the best location and its own entrance into downtown Disney and directly into California Adventure Park. So cool.
Now, the other 2 resorts are the Disneyland Hotel and Pixar Pier. These 2 resorts are a little bit harder to classify because they both have interior hallways, unlike the moderates and the values, here at Disney World.
I would say they fall in that deluxe category.
They're deluxe-ish. They're deluxe-like.
Well, the Disneyland Hotel is definitely more upscale than Pixar one, and they do have some better restaurants, but all 3 of them have club level, so you can't go wrong with club, right?
We've done club level at 2 of them.
Yeah.
At Pixar and also at Grand California. Grand California, I think, is probably one of my favorite club level experiences ever.
Yeah.
But there are way more good neighbor hotels at Disneyland than here in Florida because the California resort, as you probably already know, is so landlocked.
Yeah. In our opinion, the biggest reason people stay off property does come down to price, and we get it. Another reason is that the Disney resorts may be full, and so you just can't get into them. That happens a lot because they're so limited. But there are some really great hotels that are right across the street, like the Best Western Plus, the Howard Johnsons. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but they're actually great locations, and they keep up those hotels very, very well. But you do need to book those super early if you would like to secure rooms over there. Don't wait.
The ones right across the street from Disney obviously do fill up the quickest. But the third reason that people don't stay at maybe a Disney-owned resort is that you have hotel reward points you can use. But there is really nothing like walking out of your resort and right into downtown Disney.
I know. Or in the case of Grand California, just walking right into California Adventure. So step 1 is knowing where to stay when it comes to Disneyland. Some of the hotels are going to be further down the road, and they will advertise that they have bus transportation, but think of it like public bus transportation. These are not Disney buses. You are going to pay a fee. So save yourself the hassle and just stay within walking distance. You have a lot of options.
And unlike the monorail here in Florida, the one you see at Disneyland only goes from downtown Disney. And they do have a drop-off station in Disneyland Park, but they don't do that here in Florida. And it just takes that loop back. You do get to go through Grand California. That's kind of cool. You have to have a park ticket just to get on the monorail. Again, something different that you don't have to do that here. You want to take the monorail, you don't need to go into a park.
Yeah, so very different. Don't think you're going to just get on the monorail and go around in circles. Okay, so let's move on to when to go. And one thing that is very different about Disneyland is the guests that visit the park. While you do have the tourists that come during spring break and the summer breaks, most of those guests, they live in the West. A lot of them will have annual passes.
The Wild West.
The Wild West. So like things that we experience down at Walt Disney World, Jersey Week when it gets super packed here.
That's a thing.
Or whenever there's a marathon or the winter break from the Northeast, those don't really affect Disneyland as much.
So pay attention to the timing of the fall breaks, not just your fall break, but other ones. Like a lot of people in like Arizona and Utah, they head to Disneyland on their fall breaks. Another thing to know about are the grad nights that happen in the spring. These are nights when high schools, they bus in the students and they take over the parks. That's something that really doesn't happen that much here.
No, it doesn't. And we've been there when the grads are coming in and we're like, whoa, this place is going to get crazy.
Yes.
But keep in mind, most people are going to do a longer California vacation. And Disneyland is just a portion of it. So it's just going to be like 2 to 3 days, and then they'll head over to the beach or maybe drive down to San Diego. This is very unlike Disney World, where you can easily spend a full week and never leave the bubble.
It's like a giant glass dome over everything. So we do recommend 3 park days if Disneyland is your main goal, because 3 days you can really get everything in that works out great. It is enough time to fit in just about everything, where you don't have to do open to close in the parks, which is even better if you're staying at Grand California. I know we keep throwing that in there.
The parks themselves, though, they're literally less than a 70-second walk. And that's casual walking. We have timed this twice.
We did it on video. Yes, we did.
But their entrances, they actually face each other. And so we always recommend a park hopper for Disneyland because it really does feel like one park.
I remember we were standing inside, DCA one time and looking at the entrance into Disneyland because we were going to go over there. We're like, no, it's too busy. So we just stayed at DCA. Again, you can't see the other parks here in Florida. So California, that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
One of the big things to know about Disneyland, you do need to make park reservations. So you'll need to pick either Disneyland or DCA. And park hopping currently at this time doesn't start until 11 a.m.
Yeah, so you can make those park reservations 120 days in advance. We do recommend you do that.
Yes, we do.
And one of the reasons it's really important to know this is because if you plan to use the Lightning Lane multi-pass or single pass or join a virtual queue, here's a big difference. You have to be in the park in order to make your selections. This is very different from Disney World, where you can join the virtual queue at 7 a.m. from your hotel room.
I'm doing it right now on my phone during this live taping. Okay, I'm not really. So the Lightning Lane system, in our opinion, it does work much better at Disneyland. And one reason could be that you can't pick your choices until you get into the park.
Yeah,
no, that's pretty crazy.
I think it really does make sense, like especially for the purchase rides for like the individual Lightning Lane.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about this past holiday week
was
bonkers with the Lightning Lanes, because it really did prove that if you are staying at a Walt Disney World Resort and you have that 7-day advance to go in and make your selections, it definitely helped because all of the good Lightning Lanes were full. All of the individual Lightning Lanes were well sold out, even if you tried to get them 3 days in advance. But anyway, a little side note on that.
That is a side note.
But when you come to California, it's definitely different.
It is. In California, it's more of a level playing field. But if you're staying at one of the 3 Disney resorts, you do get 30 minutes of early entry at either park, depending on the day. It kind of rotates back and forth. That makes a huge difference for grabbing your Lightning Lane because you're going to get in before everybody else. And speaking of that early entry, there is so much you can do at either of the parks in the first 30 minutes when it's only people that are staying on property.
Yeah, so your super popular ride is going to be Radiator Racers.
People run to that.
They do. And this one's over at DCA, California Adventure. It always has a huge demand, but in our opinion, it's totally worth it to pay or just use the single rider line.
Which we can't do because we're married. They should have a married rider line too. I think that's discrimination, but I digress. So at Disneyland, a lot of people will head to Galaxy's Edge. But if you're a Disney World Pro, that land won't be as high a priority because if you've been to the one in Florida, it's pretty much the same. I think literally the only difference is the one in California has 3 entrances and the palm trees look different.
A couple things are just
They
flopped.
flopped, they're flipped.
Flipped.
They flip-flopped it.
Yeah, just a couple things. But we do recommend, just like we say for Disney World, make a list of your must-dos in each park. Study the apps, study the maps, and then build your day around doing those. Disneyland has so many classic rides. And with the Lightning Lane, usually as soon as you tap in for one ride, immediately right after, you can grab your next one, and the time will be like at the same time. So it's super, super rare to hit that 2-hour rule because most Lightning Lane times, they stick around until you get to like around maybe 2:33 in the afternoon. Then you're going to start seeing some that get pushed into the evening, but it's wild. It's so much better in California.
That is true. And I remember one time we just went around the lake in DCA. And as soon as we got off one ride, we walked to the next Lightning Lane, got right in, and we did that over and over again.
Yeah, and it's also definitely why you should get the Lightning Lane multi-pass because it works so well. I've been telling people this week at the parks, if they didn't have it, forget it. But also a big thing, that's also your photo pass.
I do have to say that Disneyland doesn't have as many photo pass opportunities like we do, have here in Florida. And many of them are mostly the ride photos.
That is so true. But Disneyland has a lot of similarities to Magic Kingdom, if you were to compare, other than the extra areas like Galaxy's Edge is in Disneyland. And then you also have Toontown, which I think is so well done. Very, very cute.
As long as it's not super cute.
It's super cute.
No, we had an agreement. So California Adventure, however, has San Francisco, which is their restaurant area. They didn't really change much.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, though.
It looks cool if they put up a new sign. That's pretty much
about
it. But Pixar Pier and then Avengers Campus and our favorite land, Cars Land.
Yeah, Cars Land is so good.
Because if you don't know, Cars Land at Disneyland is where they actually filmed the movie. So it's like you're walking into
they did,
a town.
Yeah. But I love walking the old Hollywood streets in DCA.
I agree.
And you will notice the entrance is very similar to Hollywood Studios. So that's kind of fun.
And if you didn't know this, when you're talking about the 6 parks, the 4 here and the 2 in California, DCA is our favorite.
It is.
And it has been probably since we first went there. Don't get us wrong. We love the parks here. There's something different about DCA. I don't know what it is, but something to get ready for at Disneyland will be the characters that just randomly walk everywhere, especially over in the Marvel area. You can see princesses, superheroes, the Fab Five, and they don't just stop and do meet and greets. They're walking around, interacting, very similar. And this just happened to me 2 days ago. I was I went to over to Epcot, and that was to take my brother-in-law Blake, his sister Sheila, and our niece Lila. And we're just standing there, we're looking at our watches, waiting for looking at the app. Okay, when can we get on Guardians? And Star-Lord was right there, and I got a really cool picture of them. Which, if you're watching us on YouTube, here is that picture.
But it is a great reason, though, to just go and hang out at Avengers Campus just to see who's going to show up. We've done that. We'll just grab some snacks or drink. It's so cute to see Spider-Man where you see him walking up. He'll see a little kid with a Spider-Man shirt on or costume, and he'll just grab his hand and then just start walking to his next stop. This is not like your typical meet and greets. It's so fun. I love that.
But I will say I've never seen Mary Jane or J. Jonah Jameson from the Daily Bugle. I don't know why.
Okay.
So let's talk shows and entertainment. If you like to see these on your park visits, the California parks, they really don't have as many shows, but they do have a parade during the day.
Yeah, I love their parade. The parade is so fantastic. And they do have an evening show at each park. So you have World of Color, which is really, really good. Highly recommended. However, it is very important to know
I knew you were going with this.
that the seating is not that great because guess what? It is a standing show unless you do the dessert party. Otherwise, you're going to be standing up the whole time.
That's true. So at Disneyland Park, they do have Fantasmic, which is also a standing show, and it's giant. It's like across the water, and there's a lot more space to see, so you don't have to worry about going in and getting a seat.
But you don't have a seat.
But they do have some preferred viewing packages with dining. But the big thing to be prepared for at Disneyland is the castle show.
Yeah, so they don't do fireworks every night out in California. And sometimes it depends on the weather. It could be the time of the year. So check the schedule in the app. Now they do have projections, but the castle, it's much smaller, but it's still a good show, but it's just different.
Well, there's not as much space to project stuff onto.
I know.
We get that. And that's a major difference there. At Walt Disney World, there is a fireworks show every night, both at Magic Kingdom and also at Epcot. But also, keep in mind that at Disneyland, they will shut down some of the access that is like right behind the castle during the fireworks.
Okay, so let's talk dining. Dining in Florida is a big part of your trip.
Because there's like a million options.
Yeah, you really do. You have so many options, and usually you are staying in the bubble. And plus, you can book your dining 60 days out for all the days of your trip.
If you do want to grab an advanced reservation for dining, or maybe it's a special event like a dessert party at Disneyland, those are 60 days out, but only day by day. Here, you can kind of book it the length of your stay based on the first day. They also open up on Pacific time, and we have seen where not all restaurants do.
Yeah, it's super random. But the character dining is going to be very limited. One that I think is really fun, and it's not in a park, is Goofy's Kitchen over at Disneyland Hotel. They have like some really funky stuff on the buffet.
It was good. We've done that.
It's cute. And then you could also do the super fancy Princess Brunch, and that's going to be at the Grand California.
We have not done that.
We have not done that.
It is not on our list. If there is a festival, that's usually going to be at DCA. And don't expect it to be a full booth after booth like in Epcot. These are small and usually just a handful of options. They really can't do them at Disneyland because you can't walk around with alcohol.
Yeah, so all of them are over at DCA, but it's really, really small. Now, before we give you the number one difference and one that will help you impress your Disney trivia friends.
Yes, I'm sure they want to do that.
If Disneyland is on your to-do list, we do have a free report that outlines all of the Disneyland differences, and it really will help get you ready for your vacation.
I agree. There's a link in the bio, or you can just send us your email and we will get one over to you.
Yeah. Okay. So it really is a great overview report. And
I know.
I even learned a few things on there too.
She just told me about it today.
It's really good. So you need to get that if you are going to Disneyland, even if you've only been like once or twice. Just trust me on this.
There is something I do want to mention. This is kind of a big deal when you're visiting Disneyland. We learned this the hard way. We were filming on the bridge over at Tomorrowland here at Walt Disney World, and my open, because Disney invited us to film here for our TV show, and I said, "Welcome to the happiest place on earth." And our Disney handler's like, "Cut." Nope. I'm like, "You can't say cut." He goes, "No. Disney World is the most magical place on earth. Disneyland is the happiest place on earth." And I see this mistake made by news anchors all the time.
Yeah. So Disneyland is the happiest place on earth, and Disney World is the most magical place on earth.
Right. So next time you hear someone talk about the happiest place on earth, that means it's Disneyland.
Yeah. And I really think it is fitting because Disneyland, it is a happy place in the middle of Anaheim, whereas Disney World is the most magical because it really is a world of its own. So that's just magical.
Very good definition.
I think so.
I'm impressed. Don't forget to sign up to join us on our Adventures by Disney trip later this year in September.
And if we can help you snag one of those free dining promos or discounted stay or just navigate all of the promo madness, please reach out to us or one of our Creating Magic Vacations travel advisors.
Until next time, have a magical day.
We hope to see you real soon.